Happy Friday and welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. My name is Emma and I exist in a world where Taylor Swift's album is out. Right now when I'm filming this, it is the night before Midnights is going to be released and I could not be more excited. I'm wearing a combination of Taylor Swift's merch from eras past. These clothing items do not go together. I don't mind, I'm just living in such a state of excitement. I have actually taken the day off work tomorrow just so that I can listen to the album all day. In this video, I'm going to be reacting to the album. I'm going to be recommending books based on each song in the album. We're just going to be talking a lot about Taylor Swift. Let's talk about some theories now. Now in this realm I exist in where I don't know anything. But you watching this, you do know things. I, of course, have been watching all of the Midnights Mayhem with Me TikTok releases where Taylor Swift released all of the track list, all of the titles from the album. That was very exciting. I have been keeping an eye on all the theories. The vibes that I got from watching those, straight away I was like, this is very 70s. I'm getting like Carole King vibes. Is that what this album is going to sound like? But then when she was talking about Lavender Haze, which became controversial, and I'm just not going to dive into that right now, she was talking about how that was a phrase from the 50s. And then when I showed these videos to Raf, she was saying that actually rather than 70s, she was getting more like Doris Day vibes. So we've got a lot of eras that we're covering. But then also in a Q&A, Taylor said that the fact that she was clearly referencing different eras and a lot of the content that she was putting out was a clue, but not necessarily about this album. Some people are speculating that the clues in those videos are actually about which Taylor's version album we're going to get next after this. So they're saying that the different outfits that she wears in each video actually represent different Taylor Swift eras and different albums. And then there's all sorts of theories about how to interpret the different ways that she holds the phone, whether it's her left or her right hand, whether it's upside down or not. Signs from that seem to be pointing to 1989 being the next Taylor's version album. But then some people are interpreting that totally differently and saying it's to do with what music videos we're going to get. I just don't know. Another theory I thought was pretty clever was that the fact that each of her outfits do seem to line up with different albums from her past suggests that Midnight is going to be an album made up of Vault tracks from the Vault. That would be cool. Because she has said that these are all songs about 13 sleepless nights throughout her life, so maybe she's taken them from different stages of her life. Which means I'm none the wiser about what this album is going to sound like. I'm thinking it's going to be like soft pop. Raf thinks it's going to be jazz or swing. We do know some lyrics that were revealed on Spotify billboards, and from them I'm not getting any clues, I still don't know. Whatever the genre is, I think that Vigilante Shit is going to be my favourite song. I will be getting up at 5 AM, which is when the album comes out, UK time, to listen to it straight away. Then at 3 AM, which is going to be my 8 AM, there's apparently a chaotic surprise coming. Is she coming out? Joking, I don't think that's it. I think, as many people think, it might be another album. Maybe we're getting Karma, maybe we're getting the missing album. There's so many clues about this lost album. That would be truly chaotic if 3 hours after releasing Midnights, she just released another album. It's crazy, but it's not so crazy that it might not be true. A few hours before the album comes out, she is releasing like a teaser trailer for it that's going to be on Amazon Prime during Thursday Night Football, whatever that is. I do need some sleep, so I'm not going to wake up for that. But that means that by the next time you see me, the internet will know something that I don't. There'll be some clue out there that I've missed. Anyway, I'm going to go and get a really early night tonight because tomorrow I need to wake up, listen to the album, react, tell you my thoughts, and recommend books. What I'm going to do, seeing as this album is all about sleepless nights, is recommend books to help Taylor sleep in each situation. Whatever it is that she is struggling with in her songs, I'm going to try and find the perfect book to match up. I think I'm setting myself a bit of a challenge, but we're going to try. And to help me and Taylor sleep, this video is sponsored by Manta, who make these amazing sleep masks. This is truly the most comfortable, adaptable, adjustable sleep mask that I have ever tried on. It's got these cozy little eye pads that A, make it like incredibly comfortable to wear, you don't get pressure on your eyelids, and also make it totally blackout. So this baby has sent me straight to sleep on plane journeys. I've never been good at napping in my life, and suddenly with this I've had some very successful naps. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below to click through and buy your own manta mask, and they have loads of different types. I've got the basic one here, but you can also get scented ones, weighted ones, cooling ones, warming ones. It's incredible. So please do click on my link if you want to go and browse their website, because if you click on my link, then I get a little commission from everything that you buy, and that really, really helps me keep this channel going. And in exchange, as a present for that, I will also give you a discount code. So once you've clicked my link, then when you're ready to buy something, if you use the code SHELF10, you will get 10% off your purchase. So I'm going to put this on right now. This is going to help me get the early night that I need, and I will see you when midnight is in the world. Oh my god, it's coming. We have about 5 minutes to go. I set so many alarms, I woke up by myself before all of them. So I have now just watched the teaser trailer. It does really seem to be backing up the theory that they're all going to be vault tracks, or that they're all going to be from different Taylor Swift eras, because that video, that trailer was referencing so many existing music videos. Also, can we talk about the fact that Laura Dern is going to be in a Taylor Swift music video? The power that this woman has. I'm literally just watching the clock tick down. It's happening. 10, 9, 8. And it's here. Listen now. My Spotify literally's crashed. Let me try again. You're joking, it won't play. And when I think too many people are trying to listen, it won't let me play track 1. Yeah, so that actually happened. The Swifties crashed Spotify and I couldn't listen to the first track at 5 AM. I had to skip. I had to listen to it from track 2 onwards and then go back and listen to Lavender Haze because it literally wouldn't load. Anticlimax. But we got there. I now have the answers. I've listened to the album. I know what it sounds like. Our genre predictions were all wrong. It was in fact pop. So I'm gonna celebrate. It's not even 9 in the morning, but I've got the day off. Happy Friday indeed. So let's go through. I'm going to show you little snippets of my reactions to the songs, and I'm going to recommend a book based on each of the songs. I didn't manage to listen to Lavender Haze first, but I will re-edit it back into the appropriate album order. So this reaction that you see of Lavender Haze actually came after I had listened to the whole rest of the album, but it's what like should have been my first introduction to Midnights. So let's go. Okay, we're doing this one at the end, but finally Lavender Haze is ready to play. This should have been my first introduction to the album. Ooh, I would have screamed. So Lavender Haze, as Taylor hinted that it was going to be, is about that bit of a relationship where you're both falling in love with each other and you're just in this lavender haze, kind of wanting to keep all of the rest of the bullshit of the outside world out and just stay in your little love bubble. And so I have the perfect book to recommend for this. But it's not out yet. It's not out until next summer. I read a really early proof of it from work, but it fits so perfectly that I just wanted to put it in here. So the book is called Everything's Fine by Cecelia Rabess, and it is a love story between two people called Jess and Josh, who are in their lavender haze and trying to pretend that everything's fine when it's clearly really, really not. In their case, the problem is politics. So they know that they have different opinions on things. Jess is a black liberal, Josh is a white conservative. Yeah, how would these two ever get together? I know, I get it. But when you read the book, it starts to make sense because Josh is changing his mind on things. They knew each other at university and they were like complete rivals. Jess hated him, but the more she gets to know him, the more he is trying to open his mind to her point of view, and you do see him growing and evolving in lots of ways. And so you start to understand. I've always been like, I don't really like that kind of meeting in the middle, see both sides kind of book, kind of storyline. But in this you do start to get it, because the book is not trying to say like, oh, we just see things differently and meet in the middle. There are clearly things that are unacceptable to Jess, and Josh is learning about those. And so they do kind of think perhaps the fact that we don't see the world exactly the same way in terms of like economic policy, maybe we just don't have to talk about that stuff and maybe everything's fine. But the book is set in 2016. As the 2016 election approaches, it becomes clear that everything is not in fact fine. But anyway, that is the book that I recommended for Lavender Haze, because there is a big chunk of that book when they are in that love bubble and just trying to ignore everything outside it. Maroon! This was the first song I heard from the album and my jaw dropped. It sounds just like the beginning to Welcome to New York. It sounds like Dress. It sounds like Blank Space.
Oh my God.
It is so reminiscent of an era of Taylor Swift that I absolutely loved. I mean, I've loved all of her eras, but that era was like a dancing to this album era. So I am psyched that we're getting more songs that sound like that. It's 1989. Also love that the song is referencing red. She references like basically every version of the color red in this song except for red itself. This is a song about a breakup. It's a song where you get to see the rise and fall of a relationship. It's very, very moving, and I have the perfect book. Pages for You by Sylvia Brownrigg is a book that does exactly that. It is about the beginning and the end of a love story between two women who meet at university, and it's so passionate and you're so swept away with seeing them fall in love, but also watching it fall apart as tiny little things mean that it just doesn't quite work in the end, and it absolutely destroyed me and broke my heart. This book is Maroon in book form. It's my favourite album already. Anti-hero. Okay, what the fuck is with the sexy baby line? Why is that in there? I love this song so much. It's the one that's been stuck in my head the most since I started listening about 4 hours ago at this point. I love it. It's amazing. I love the line about her dreaming that one day her daughter-in-law is going to kill her for the money that she thinks she left them in the will, and then the family are all going to be sitting around the table together looking at the will, and one of them says she's laughing up at us from hell. Like, that is so vivid. I want to read that book. Like, that whole story came to life for me, so I love this one. I don't get the sexy baby line. I don't know why that's there. I feel like she left it in by mistake. This was also the song that I found it the hardest to match a book with. I have a few different options. None of them are quite right. Honestly, like, what song could go with these batshit lyrics? But it's something, really the song is about self-loathing. It's about feeling like an outsider. And so I have a few suggestions. One of them is Hare House, which is the story of a woman who is kind of followed by accusations of witchcraft. She is the outsider to this story, and as the book goes on, you see other characters begin to become afraid of her, sometimes afraid of her, sometimes pitying her, because they just see her as other. So I thought that kind of fit. I also have Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, which is the story of Medusa. So again, this is a story about a monster, about an outsider, about someone who is seen as terrifying and different and unworthy by other people, but you get to see the story from their perspective. I love this book, by the way. It's really, really fun Greek myth retelling. And then for something that's not about witches or monsters, just about human self-loathing, Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason is a beautiful book. It's very funny, it's very witty, and it's very painful. So I think this kind of fits the vibe of the song Anti-Hero. That's the only one I've cheated on. The rest of them I've stuck to one book per song, I promise. This sounds more folklore evermore-y. Snow on the Beach is just a really lovely song about falling in love and about all of the terror and excitement and nervousness and anticipation that comes with that. This is a song for those nights that you're lying awake sleepless because you're falling in love and you're so afraid of it and you've been hurt before and you're scared that life is going to hurt you again. And the book I want to recommend for that is Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. Open Water is such a beautiful book. It's a really short book, so you can read it very quickly. Taylor Swift, this one is for you to read on one of your sleepless nights. It's just an absolutely beautifully written book about two young people falling in love. It's written from the perspective of the boy in this relationship, and the love is so pure and beautiful and so real and believable, but he is afraid of it, and he is afraid of the way that life is going to hurt him. And so the book is also about his mental health struggles. They're both black, and it's about his experience of living in the world in a black male body and how the world is afraid of him and therefore is a threat to him. All of the complications that come with that get in the way of what should be this pure and magical feeling of falling in love. And so I loved that complicatedness of how love can be, should be just wonderful and magical and lovely, but isn't always just that simple, and the book is a really good summarization of that. You're on Your Own, Kid. I love this one. This is one of my top faves. I've got so many top faves. I started writing them out for my friends and I realised I'd written almost the whole album, but I do love this one. This one, especially by the end, gives me Long Story Short vibes. It's the bit at the end of the lyrics where she says, she has been saying, you're on your own, kid, you always have been, and then she says, you're on your own, kid, you can face this. That reminded me of Long Story Short, when it goes from long story short, it was a bad time, to long story short, I survived. I love that lyric so much that I have it tattooed on me. This is the sound wave of that lyric from the song. So this feels like a new fave. And the book I'm going to match with this one is The Paper Palace. So You're on Your Own, Kid is kind of about that childhood friend who you have always been in love with your whole life, and that love feels so important, but it can't actually save you, and that's what The Paper Palace is about. This book is told between, you get one timeline that's all within the same 24 hours, and then one timeline that goes back and covers the main character's whole life. So she is 50, I think, when the book takes place, and so we get the whole 50 years of her life so far, and there's this boy Jonah who she grew up with, and their love story is so strong and tragic, and she has a lot of trauma in her life, and he has been there along the way. In the present day, they're not together, they're both married to different people, but the book starts when they have just slept together, and it follows the next 24 hours as she looks back on her past with Jonah and tries to decide what to do next. Jonah is a really important figure in her life and has been there through some of the worst things that she's been through. But ultimately, you're on your own, kid. It's the 1989 era comeback. That's the overwhelming feeling. Midnight Rain. Before even thinking of a book, the first thing that came to my mind was this is Sweet Home Alabama. This is the movie about Reese Witherspoon going back to the man who wanted to settle down and make her his wife all along, but she wanted to go and have a better, smarter, fancier life. However, this video is not called Movies to Help Taylor Swift Sleep, and so I have to pick a book. And I have. The Confession by Jessie Burton is a book I think Taylor Swift would love. It's very Evelyn Hugo-esque. We still have no confirmation that Taylor Swift has read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I just feel like she has. I just know that she has. Some of her songs sound like they were written by someone who's read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book is very Evelyn Hugo-esque, so I think Taylor Swift would love it. It is about a love story between two women, one of whom is a famous writer, and she ends up moving them to Hollywood because one of her movies is being adapted into a film, and she is changing and chasing this fame, and it's about how that tears their love story apart. But it's also got a mystery element to it, so that happens in the past. We also get a present day element when a woman, I can't remember how much of this is spoilers, so I'm not going to tell you too much about the connections, but there is a woman who wants to find out more about their past. It's a great book. Right. The emotional rollercoaster that I have just been on with the song Question. My first reaction to this song was, it's gay. It's gay. It's happening. She's written a song that is gay. She said she again. Taylor, just tell us. Tell us if you're bi. It's okay if you're bi. I know I've had this reaction before multiple times, but this one is definitely gay. She even sings about them not being sure about what this means. Like, it's so gay. However, on the second listen, I realised that it does say right on the very first line, good girl, sad boy, and so maybe the song is not a gay song, and that I should stop trying to make Taylor Swift gay if she doesn't want to be gay. I know, right? I've heard the arguments too. I still think Taylor's bi. However, I was willing to accept that maybe it wasn't a gay song. And then I saw another theory. Good girl, sad boy. The sad boy, according to some people on Twitter, is Matt Healy from the 1975, and the song is about the 1975 concert when Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss were seen kissing. And the chorus, that's what it's about. It sounds like it's about that. But it's fine. It's fine. She can be in the closet if she wants to be in the closet. So the book that I'm going to recommend for this song is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, which is a time travel book that I love. And I think this book is perfect for this song because it's about those questions that you have for people in your past, even though you know you can't change anything. That's how time travel works in the book, is that you can go back, but only for a very short period of time, and nothing you do while you're back in the past will change your present. It's just about kind of asking those questions, getting those closure, helping yourself move on. And that's what the song is about. It's looking back at something that just didn't quite work and asking the questions that you've always wanted to ask. This song. Vigilante Shit might be my favourite. When she said, "I've been dressing for revenge," I screamed. Instantly, this was the first book that I paired up. Even while I was listening to the first way through, I wrote this one down straight away. The book I have to recommend for this one is How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. It's literally about revenge. It's about a woman who is so consumed by revenge, it takes over everything in her life. She plans to kill her whole family because of the way they treated her, and the book follows her as she sets out to do exactly that. And it takes over every part of her life. It's a really, really fun book. I really enjoyed it. Such a good like holiday read, such a good page turner. Really recommend it. It won't send you to sleep, Taylor, but you know, at least help you pass the time when you're awake at midnight and you don't know what else to do. And it's about vigilante shit. She's back on her vigilante shit again. Bejewelled was a hard one. Bejewelled is a really beautiful song, and the message of it is basically, I'm still fucking great. Like, no matter what I'm gonna go through, I'm still fucking great. And the reason I found this one hard is because the obvious thing would be to pair it with a book that's about a romance where the main character doesn't end up with the main love interest but is fine anyway. But I realised that'd be a spoiler. I don't want to tell you that book because that'd be a spoiler. So I went down a different approach. I just tried to think of books that I thought Taylor Swift would love and that have very happy endings and make you feel empowered and that your life is going to be okay. And the book I came up with is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. I think Taylor Swift would love this book. The main character is a writer, so it's got that element of art in it. It's about her like trying to create, trying to tap into her creativity. I think Taylor would enjoy that. It's also got some love story elements in it. There's a few different romances. I think Taylor would enjoy that. And it's got the most supremely joyful ending. The book takes our main character from someone in this state of self-loathing and not feeling good enough and feeling pretty beaten down by life to having this just wonderfully happy ending, which doesn't happen often in the kind of books that I read. I forgot to hold up the book. This is Writers and Lovers. I've got it here. It looks like this. Labyrinth is about unexpectedly falling in love again when you thought you never could, when your heart has been broken and everyone's expecting you to be okay, but you're not okay, and then, oh no, suddenly you might be okay because you might be falling in love again. So for this, I've gone for Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, specifically Marianne's storyline in this. Marianne is my soul sister. I think that we are the same, and I think that's not a good thing. She's very melodramatic, but she does get her heart broken in this book, and it's really, really sad to watch, because she's actually like 17 or something in this book. She's very young. She didn't deserve to be treated that way. I also think that Taylor Swift's song Dear John is also about this book. In fact, I've paired Taylor Swift songs to a lot of Jane Austen books. I wrote an article about it for Bustle. I'll link that below. They're all like very compelling. My reasoning is spot on all of them. But she's now written another song about Sense and Sensibility, and that is Labyrinth. I won't tell you too much in case you haven't yet read Sense and Sensibility, and you should because it's a really wonderful book. But this is about Marianne being okay. She's gonna be okay. This whole album is Karma, right? This is the unreleased album. The song Karma has been very highly anticipated because there are, of course, so many rumours around Karma, the missing album Karma. I think this is the missing album because this song sounds like tonally it is in between 1989 and Reputation. I think she wrote this album and then all of the Kanye shit went down and she scrapped it and she wrote Reputation instead. I think that this is the unreleased album. It was originally called Karma. Anyway, this song Karma, Taylor Swift had talked about it herself and she said it's about those nights where you're lying awake and you could go down this path of self-loathing and instead you decide that you are just gonna be okay with yourself. She takes all of the shit that people are saying about her and she reclaims it. So for that reason, I'm recommending the book Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is about a retired tennis player coming out of retirement. And when she was at the top of her game, she was the best tennis player in the world, but she wasn't universally liked. She was called the bitch. She was called the battle axe. And now that she's come out of retirement to try and reclaim her like world record, she decides to own that. The bitch is back is how she is seeing it. And I think that is what Taylor Swift is saying in this song is, look, all of this shit has led me to having this life, so I'm just gonna love it. This is giving me New Year's Day vibes. Sweet Nothing is a really, really cute song about just wanting to come home to a simple life and discovering the pleasures of a simple life when there are so many other things that you could focus on, that you could get caught up in the complications of, and instead just coming home to that person who doesn't really need anything from you but sweet nothing. And the book, a really charming book I'm going to recommend to go with that, is Early Morning Riser by Katherine Heiny. This is such a lovely book. It's got Gilmore Girls vibes. It's set in a small town, and it's about like 17 years in the life of this woman who moves to town, instantly falls in love with a man called Duncan, and then we watch their relationship on again, off again, the ways that her life intersects with various other characters in the town. They're all kind of eccentric caricatures of people. They're all brilliant. The book is very, very funny in a very dry way. But our main character Jane does, for a lot of the book, get really caught up in all of these other emotions, all of this guilt, all of this responsibility. There's so many external forces on her that make her find life a lot harder than it needs to be. And the book is about her realizing that she can enjoy the mundanity of life and the simple pleasures that she has around her. The sweet nothing. Oh my god, we heard this in the trailer. Sneaky Taylor. And finally, also I thought, finally for now, Mastermind. And I loved this song. Instantly, I listened to the song and it made me laugh because it made me think this song is about me. This is exactly the kind of shit I would do, is like, oh, isn't it a wonderful coincidence that we were both at this bar on the same night? And not that I had stalked your Instagram story and knew you were going to be there. I was already thinking that before she sang the line about no one wants to play with her when she was a kid and that's why she's like this. That there was no need for that, Taylor. That was too harsh. It was too true. No one did want to play with me. I particularly love that this song is the antidote to Invisible String. Invisible String was such a beautiful song about fate bringing two people together, and with this song she's like, ha, bitch, you thought. I'm a mastermind, I made it all happen. So this was a really, really hard one to pair a book with, because the thing is, it's giving Gone Girl vibes, but like in a nice way. It's not a murder song, it's a really sweet love song. I think it reminds me of me, and I'm not meaning that as an insult to myself. I am a mastermind. I do make love happen. That's a good thing. But the only book I can think of to pair with it is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, because that's the only book that I have read that I can remember that has this kind of protagonist who completely engineers a situation for herself. It's just, in this book it's a terrifying thriller, and in the song it's actually a really cute love story. If you have read any books that are like nice romance books in which you have a fucking manipulative character who gets what she wants and engineers the situation happening, put them in the comments because I will read that. There is nothing wrong with being a master manipulator. But of course, as we all know by now, then this happened. Okay, whatever the chaotic 3 AM surprises is being revealed in about 30 seconds. Oh my god, it's 7 bonus tracks. Now I have to find 7 more books. And so, here we are, a little later than planned. I had hoped to upload this video a little bit earlier, but I then of course had to wait and listen to the 7 new tracks, which I now have. I'm not going to pair books with all of them because it took me 3 hours to choose the first 13 books, so we would be here forever if I had to choose 7 more. But I just want to talk about them. I listened to them, I like them, I think they're very different. I think that the first 13 tracks are from the vault. I think that she wrote those around 2016. I think she wrote them in between 1989 and Reputation. And the bonus tracks, I think, are newer because they sound a lot more like Evermore. They sound like the bonus tracks on Evermore, in fact. It's like 2 different albums. They're so different. I've only listened to them once through, so I don't yet know which my favourites are going to be. It's very interesting. What is she playing at? So I'm just going to recommend one more book to you because the final song on the album is now called Dear Reader. A lovely title for a song and a lovely title for a book. Dear Reader by Kathy Rensenbrink is one of my favorite books that I have ever read. This is a memoir all about the comfort and joy of books. Kathy Rensenbrink goes through her life in books, and I'm not a big non-fiction reader, you know this about me, but this book just absolutely won my heart over. I think for any book lover, it will. It's got book recommendations in here. It's got stories about how books changed her life, changed the lives of people around her. Anyone who believes in the magic of books will be so moved by this. And I do think that Taylor Swift is one of those people. So I think that when she is lying awake at midnight, she should be reading Dear Reader to help her go to sleep. So this was the start of a truly wonderful day for me. I am now going to keep listening to Taylor Swift on repeat for the whole rest of the day with a few little Carly Rae Jepsen breaks, but mostly it's going to be me and Taylor. Oh, I also, to quote Taylor Swift, can I ask you a question? Where the fuck was Taylor Swift on April 29th? I feel like the bonus tracks just gave me so many more questions. Like, what happened on the 21st of October 2016? Where was she on April 29th? What are all these clues that I'm supposed to know what they mean? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know all your theories. It doesn't have to be an answer to those questions. Any Taylor Swift Easter eggs, theories that you have stumbled across, let me know, because I love them all. I can never get enough. Let me know your favourite songs from the new album below, or any other book recommendations that you have. I will also link here to a playlist of all of the other Taylor Swift themed videos that I've done, because there's been quite a few, because, you know, your girl's a fan. I hope you will enjoy International Taylor Swift Day as much as I am enjoying it, and I'll see you next time.